December 14th, 2020. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was March 21st, and I had just landed on a deserted island. It was green and wooded and populated by 5 others that I had just met. Arranged by Tom Nook himself, he'd set out to create what he would call an island getaway. Paradise full of promise and adventure. Much to my surprise, he would pass on all island upkeep to me, so I would become the sole developer of an island I now call Elias. In the early days, much of my time was spent on tedious and sometimes exhausting tasks, from chopping out all of my trees, to chasing and catching bugs to help Blathers launch his passion project, his own cherished museum. Very quickly, these day-to-day tasks became routine. I was waking up each morning to tackle the chores of the day, whether it was maximizing my turnip profit or finding a new plot for an incoming villager. There were always new developments to take on. It was the perfect distraction from reality. My life was shifting underneath my feet as the world crumbled around me, and Elias was my only source of solid ground. It was my only source of purpose, as the future became more foggy and uncertain. As the days ticked on and COVID-19 grew worse, I became dependent on my island. I looked around my life and saw a sea of sadness, chaos, and social injustices that grew way too heavy to bear. If I was able to create this perfect island getaway, I knew I could feel pride again. Something as foreign to me as the feeling of pure, lust-filled joy in a basement club at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night in Philly. But as I logged hundreds and hundreds of hours into Elias, tackling some of the major milestones and creating Pinterest-worthy cafe areas, I was neglecting myself and the life that I lived outside of my island. Hours of couch nesting and blanket burritos turned into days, and I felt more disconnected with the goals and the future I had hoped for myself. It was hard enough to see a future beyond COVID, and the life Elias presented me felt more attainable than the dense, disorienting fog that was 2020. Now, after spending 268 days on this island, it feels frivolous, empty, frustrating. My drive and dedication to the development of this island has disappeared, and the thought of tackling any new project is debilitating. I'm upset that I can't get myself to finish my Christmas tree farm or my charming old-school-styled shopping center. I can't even maintain the overgrowth of flowers that I signed on to, as I used to meticulously research hybrid possibilities to see how to achieve that oh-so-coveted golden rose. It makes me think, if I can't maintain this imaginary deserted island, how am I maintaining my real home? The wellness of my mind and my body hasn't really been on the top of my to-do list. Falling far behind the crafting, the wrapping, and gifting items to Beau each morning, until he finally decides to give me his portrait. Still waiting on that one. Maybe if I maintain the flower growth on my island, it'll make me feel better about the fact that brushing my teeth each night is a battle and a chore that I will force myself to complete. And if I don't, I will slander myself over it for the next week. I can feel my body and my mind growing weaker as the weeks tick by, with my only markers of time being the days that I've gone without seeing Red's boat on my secret beach. It's been 24 days. As my interest in the upkeep of my island continues to wane and COVID continues to rage, stripping all of the performance opportunities I'd hoped to find in 2020 from my cracked and tired hands, I find myself lost. Where do I gather the inspiration to get up and to care for my real-life home? How do I continue to stay patient, sane, and cautious for the safety of others while half of the country seems to care more about getting haircuts and attending holiday parties than the welfare of millions of Americans that are still unemployed? Or the 300,000 people whose lives were considered worth losing over the freedom to eat in a restaurant. With 2020 coming to a close, I hope to find a place where I'm excited to catch up with my villagers, where I play because it gives me true, untarnished joy, not because it fills the void that seeps into every crack of my being. I want to play out of genuine interest again, not out of obligation that feeds this monotonous routine. I long to feel motivated to create again. I wish to share my creativity with others. And I need to bow on a damn stage again. But until then, I hope at the very least to give space for all of this turmoil and chaos that is 2020, and to give myself grace in knowing that soon enough, I might feel that spark again. Spark of life that is the closest thing to a purpose that I've ever known. And maybe one day I'll finally finish my shopping center.